For years now, one company has been disrupting the world's biggest golf brands with their direct-to-consumer golf balls. Now, we go on the website, we can see they actually do clubs. This could get quite interesting. Are these the best golf clubs you can buy in 2024? The best mid-handicap, best high-handicap golf clubs money can buy? It's fair to say they look absolutely exceptional. Today we're going to test them for numbers and see just how they do perform. We're going to take them out on the golf course and really put them through their paces to see if these could well be the best golf clubs for you, the best golf clubs for me, and of course the best golf clubs for your money in 2024. You see, the strap line for these clubs is if you thought that a good looking, good feeling forged iron was just for tour pros, you are mistaken. Introducing the brand new 2024 Vice VGI-01 golf clubs. Now, in my opinion, these irons look spectacular. They look fantastic. And you may well be thinking, just who are these irons designed for? Who is the demographic for these brand new Vice irons? And when did Vice start making golf clubs? Surely they should just stick to making Vice balls because that's what they were good at. But no. You see, I've already been in the studio testing these clubs for numbers. Look at that. I'm not sure how I anticipated this video to go, but it wasn't that. And the strap line here is that basically these are a forged, nice feeling, nice performing club. But for that kind of mid-handicap golfer, for the guy who wants a nice looking club, but also wants it to perform pretty well on miss hits. And it's fair to say that realistically, this is up there with some of the most forgiving irons I've ever tested. You see where that was struck out of? Yeah, it's still done pretty well. I'm also going to get in here early with the price, because if you were thinking that these are a kind of Kirkland, Tacoma, Cali rival, they ain't that. If you're going to get a full set of these 4-iron to wedge, they're going to be north of £1,000. I'm going to tell you why in this video. We'll talk through specs, we'll talk through exactly what potentially makes these so special, and if you should have them in the bag, and if I will potentially put them in the bag as well. They also come in some cool colours, so there's that if you're a colourful guy. I went for black. No! Right, I'm going to get that. I am going to get that. It's like on the way, isn't it? So let's continue with the review. However, probably a great time to segue to that kind of 2-second wow that you do get when you receive these clubs. So these clubs came in the mail. They are D2C. They come in a lovely kind of little presentation box. I didn't just get the irons either. I also got a couple of putters to test. So if you want to see that, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. And we also have one of the wedges as well. And we got a nice little kind of embrace your Vice 10 commandments page. So I'm not really a kind of rule kind of guy, so I'm going to put that back in there for now, and we're going to continue with this gorgeous looking 5-iron. So if we do kind of go in on the price on these golf clubs, Vice have gone in aggressive when it comes to how much they're charging you for these D2C clubs. Shaft wise, they do come with true temper as standard. You also kind of put your own little decal on there, which I don't know, I found it weird, but a lot of you guys might like it, might put them on where you want them, showing them, not showing them. Special Vice decal as well, so it's those little things that I think a lot of people would like. They're obviously going to match the colour of the head that you get and things like that. So that's all going well. How do they perform? Because I have been in the studio and we've tested a couple of these clubs already, but out here on the golf course, this is where it really matters. And this is where I can really start to play lots of different shots. You saw the first shot, nice big high fade. That shot's a nice little kind of lower fade, still bounding down there, right down the middle of this fairway. And feel-wise, they're really good. Like, this is one of the things that I was a little bit skeptical. I was like, oh, okay, they've got a great brand going. They've got like the balls and the hats and the gloves. And then you see the clubs like, oh, okay, they look really cool. I anticipated these to be a bit cheaper, I'm not gonna lie. But then I've tested them and I've kind of kept hitting them and kept going, and like this, as this video goes on, I think we will start to see that they're actually a good set of golf clubs. When I first got them out of the box, I was a little bit kind of uninspired by the blade length. Like initially I got them out like, wow, they look amazing from a shelf appeal point of view. Then I kind of turned them around. I was like, there's a lot of kind of surface area there. Then I did some reading up on them and kind of figured out who they're actually for. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, yeah, I kind of get that now. I really get it. And the fact that you can see all the kind of tech that goes into them with the hollow body design and things like that, potentially, I think we could be onto something here. Turf interaction wise, that is absolute perfection, just what I want. And that's 3 balls in the fairway on this opening tee shot. The reason why I'm getting that turf interaction, I think, is because you can see here that it's just kind of ground away a little bit. So that's going to help when it comes to turf interaction. And that 2-piece hollow body is obviously helping when it comes to forgiveness, ball speed, spin rate, which is pretty good, by the way. We'll get to the numbers in a second. So all in all, just how good are these irons? How much should you potentially spend on them? And should you get them or should you not? We'll discuss it in this video. Okay, so we are talking big bucks for these clubs, and we're also talking lots of tech. So we've already spoken about that kind of 2-piece hollow body construction. That's designed to create one of the hottest faces in golf right now and offer incredible ball speeds even on miss hits. They also feature a 3x forging and milled finish. That's for superior durability, unmatched feel and incredible precision. They have a low COG and high MOI. We all know that that does provide an optimal ball flight and increased stability on those off-centre hits, and we also have a mini grind and increased bounce that enhances that turf interaction, as we spoke about a little bit earlier on. So I think all in all, there's a lot of R&D gone into these, and I think really there's a lot of people who may well be surprised when they test these irons for feel, for performance, and for the soul. Because let's face it, building up a golf brand like the guys at Vice have isn't easy. Getting people who just kind of commit to the brand, who are loyalists to your golf ball, to your accessories, to the towels, to the hats, to the bags, even the kind of shoe collaborations, it's a big deal. So now the fact that we do have golf clubs available from this brand, oops, I can only really see it going one way. Oh, and I must say, I'm absolutely buzzing with the front to back dispersion on these 3 tee shots. The tee's actually back there, so these have all gone pretty much exactly the same distance, just that first one was a bit cutty and I pulled that one, but the fact that they have gone the same distance, even with a bit of a cutty shot, even with a little bit of a kind of pull, shows that there is some consistency to these clubs. These clubs aren't just, oh, well, I've bought some balls off these guys before, so I'll go and buy the clubs, because let's face it, at like £1,100, that ain't gonna wash. And whilst you think, well, that's all good and well, because generally, if we're gonna get a set of forgiving DTC irons, generally all they're gonna be is a strong lofted, easy to hit club. The 7-iron's 31 degrees of loft. Now, I'm not saying that's traditional, but it's not in the 20s, is it? Now, if we start to talk about the kind of design and look of these clubs as well, but when we start to look at the lower irons, such as the pitching wedge here, Vice claim they've worked incredibly hard to produce that kind of low offset, thin top line kind of look. So it is very inspirational looking, it's very blade looking. And I quite like that. I do think you put these in the bag and you're like, oh my Lord, look at those. I'm not sure I'd be spicing them up with lots of different colours. I really like them looking a little bit traditional. I feel like that's the look Vice have gone for with this blade style head. And you can see obviously the plug in the toe there for that hollow bodied 2-piece design to give you the forgiveness. So apart from that, apart from being able to smash these clubs a million miles, what else would you want from these clubs? Well, first of all, one thing I would want is obviously an element of forgiveness. The size of these clubs, the style of them, yes, there's kind of low bounce and a kind of thin top line, but the blade length is quite long and they are inspirational, not just for good looks, but also for forgiveness. So if I have the pitching wedge here and I have 132 yards playing 127 yards, I don't know what I expected that to do. That was just silly. But can I play one down here? With downhill, with downwind, I know this pitching wedge will probably go 140 yards if I try it to. Look at that. We'll talk 7-iron numbers in a second. So realistically here, I don't even know what ball I was lining up for then. We'll go here. We'll go this one. Realistically, it lies with me on can I play a nice controlled shot like that. Yeah, I can. That's a lot. How do I get this across without sounding too positive? That's exactly the shot I wanted to play, like to the tee. So yes, we might be talking a lot of money about these clubs. We are talking a chunk of change, but I think it's fair to say that these aren't just like a set of no-namers, as it were. These aren't kind of an afterthought, which which I feel like some clubs potentially are when you start getting into that lower price bracket. These are like a statement of, oh, hi guys, remember when we came across with this ball and really annoyed you? We see you, Titleist, Callaway, TaylorMade. Yeah, now we've got irons. So get ready. Whether or not it would be as kind of forward as that, I don't know, but I certainly feel like that's kind of where Vice are going with this. I feel like the wedge maybe looks a little bit big, like down at the ball, blade length a touch too big, but again, it's not really for me, is it? It's more for the guy who wants it looking big. I think that's even better. Like, I didn't anticipate to be able to knock shots down. I thought these would just kind of fire off and all go 140 yards, whereas that one's gone a tiny bit right with a bad bounce, but turf interaction's exactly the same, and I'm really starting to get just some nice controlled 120 yard shots here. Because distance isn't everything. Consistency and control is. That is good. And now you see these irons are certainly worth getting excited about. If you fancy a bit of a change, if you don't want to go to one of the huge big brands, then there are certainly more options out there than ever before. And we also have a club which I haven't actually spoken about yet, but this could really get people excited as well. So this is of course the wedge. This is a 56 degree version. There's a video coming on this, so subscribe if you'd like to see that. Might well run some giveaways with these as well, because I feel like these guys are here to stay. I can't wait to start testing more and more of them. You can see we have tested this for numbers inside already, and it's kind of chewed off a lot of the urethane in our studio balls, so certainly worth thinking about, again, if you fancy something a little bit different. Okay, so for the price of these new Vice irons, just what would you anticipate that they perform like? Because for me, I was kind of expecting them to be a little bit cheaper. I was kind of expecting them to be more along the lines of a Tacomo or a Cali or even a Kirkland. But I'm very impressed with that as an opening shot. So I've set a green up here at 70 or 170 yards, should I say. Usually a 7-iron for me is a kind of 165 carry. We know there's a bit of tech in these with that hollow body design to allow for more ball speed and to allow for more distance. And the more I look down at these, the more I actually like them, the more I like that they're a bit of a longer blade length, the more I like that potentially they're going to be a little bit more forgiving for your everyday golfer. Because I think, look at that, 173, 168 carry, spinning at 6,000, so pretty good spin numbers. I think these are for the guy who wants to be a little bit more quirky with his golf club choice. He wants to be a little bit more out there. He's not that bothered about Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, PXG. But then for the price for over $1,000 for the set, it's still going to be for a serious golfer, isn't it? It's still going to be for the guy who wants good ultimate performance. I bet that one toey, so it'll be interesting to see how that gets on. You're still going to want an element of forgiveness. I think that toey, it's nearly gone in. And we also know they're going to cause a bit of a stir with that look, with the blade length and with the overall design, because a lot of people will look at these and think, oh, that's like a bladed iron, that looks fantastic, it looks amazing. Whereas realistically, it's not a bladed iron, but the guys at Vice have done an exceptional job of making it look like a bladed iron. That one's carried 177 yards. That's the shot that I would kind of worry about, because realistically, I don't want a club that carries 167, then 177. I have pulled that and de-lofted it, so that's potentially why it's done that. But I think for the performance and for the overall feel, I'm a lot more impressed with these than what I anticipated. I haven't actually tested them out on the golf course yet. I'm filming that section of the video a little bit later on, so I'll be really interested to see how I get on out there. I do like bringing you guys numbers. I like telling you that I can carry it 175 yards. I like telling you I'm getting 124 mile an hour ball speed. I love telling you that I'm getting nearly 6,500 spin with this 7-iron. But one thing that I always want to make sure we are doing is hitting greens out on the golf course and of course enjoying our golf. Look at that. You know what? I'm sold. I really am. I'm not sure how I anticipated this video to go, but it wasn't that. So as you saw there, the numbers for this Vice VGI 01 7-iron were pretty impressive. Very, very impressive for forgiveness and very impressive to maintain spin rate and of course ball speed. Now for me, these irons have a little bit of a problem, and that's well, they are kind of still the new kids on the block when it comes to irons. Yes, they've been very disruptive in the golf ball market, as we've already mentioned, but the guys like TaylorMade, Callaway, PXG, who are all knocking clubs out at this price point with potentially more options. Yeah, not the colour fill options and maybe a couple of other bits, but they almost have more of a premium feel to them. Now, I'm not saying these irons don't feel premium, because they do, they feel exceptional, but things like the grip, like go and get a Lambkin or a Golf Pride or a Super Stroke grip kind of partnership with this, because these feel okay, but they're not like, I don't know, not mega premium, I don't feel. Numbers wise, they were pretty good, as you saw. And I think forgiveness wise, like that was skinny, and that is up there chasing towards the hole. Oh my Lord, that was close. I'll go up there and show you where these have finished afterwards, but like that contact, that's not okay for a golf shot. Like in an ideal world, that divot's probably 2 inches further back and a little bit less across it. But the golf ball, however, if we can just move slightly to the side, is just there, like to the right of the flag. And it looked at one point like it might have been going in. So really, the question I kind of asked myself is, do I expect to see a lot of these in the wild? Do I expect to see them in a lot of people's bags? Maybe, yeah. I think it depends where you go. And I think it depends who you play with. That's got no right to be up there. Watch this. Go on then. Go on. Keep running. I'm like more and more interested in these the more and more I hit them. I think the fact you can't get fitted for them or really even try them is a shame. But like, they're just so easy to hit and so easy to set yourself up with shots like that. So in a nutshell, I think it comes down to how much do you want to spend, and do you want to be a follower or a trendsetter for something a little bit new? Guys, thank you so much for watching. Smash that subscribe button. Is this one going to go in? It's bang on line again. It's every chance. Frightening. Frightening. And that was a better strike. See you tomorrow. Even break my teeth.